My name is Paul Mosina. I live in Ashland. I'd like to call your attention again to what happened at the recent budget process, the 2025-2027 budget. The city of Ashland, you violated some important principles. The council, the mayor, the city administrator, the city attorney, the police chief, and one of those is the oath of office that you took, which was to support the city charter. And so I just want to call your attention to what happened during that budget process and how you violated the city charter. And I'm speaking about
Mayor, point of order.
No, not yet.
I'd like to speak. I'd like to complete my thought. If I can I get some time back on my clock there? I'm being interrupted. I would appreciate it if you could
Go
give me
ahead.
that time back.
If you can give him a little bit more time.
I appreciate that. The Ashland Charter, Chapter 8, Section 6 says, proceedings to be public. No action by the council shall have legal effect unless the motion for the action and the vote thereon take place at proceedings open to the public. This council amended the budget that was approved by the Citizens Budget Committee. And that amendment process was not open to the public. There was no public vote. You had the discussion in public, but there was no motion or public vote to make that change. You made a decision, and you did not have a vote or a motion to make that decision. In Section 9, it says, vote required, except as this charter otherwise provides, the concurrence of a majority of the members of council present at a council meeting shall be necessary to decide any question before the council. You had a question before that council, and that was the funding for the child care grant program. You debated it, you talked about it, you gave instructions to the city administrator, and then at the budget meeting on June 3rd, you simply assumed that a motion, in fact, the deputy administrator said that a motion had actually been taken on this. There was no motion, there was no vote, there was no public vote taken. You violated two important chapters of the charter in the processing of that amendment to the CBC. Okay, I just want to make that clear. There was no vote, and the charter explicitly says there's no carve-out for changes to the Citizens Budget Committee. There's no carve-out there. You have to vote on every decision. Their approved budget was on the table. You decided to change it, but you did not have a vote on that change. Every single time a resolution comes before the council, when you want to change it, you vote on the amendment, and then you vote on the issue on the item as amended. Can I have a couple more seconds? I was interrupted
She added time to your time, Mr. Mosina.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really have a problem with the way that you all handled this.
Thank you, Mr. Mosina.
Mayor, point of order.
Yes.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Yes, I'd like to address this. This has been coming up multiple times. Mr. Mosina has been responded to on these claims. I would like an opportunity for the city attorney to respond to this publicly so that this misinformation does not continue.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Just looking for the exact date. This has come up numerous times, and it looks like on, sorry, I'm trying to find the date here. On July 2nd, I responded to Mr. Mosina, and I will read that email as follows. I reviewed the email that you sent City Council and provided my analysis back to them. I also had conversations with department heads and council members to address any follow-up questions they had. I will summarize very briefly for you. My interpretation was that the study session relating to the principal subject of a financial update was a perfectly legitimate time to discuss financial questions pertaining to the budget. Additionally, as a matter of state law, the absence of a subject from a notice does not preclude the governing body from discussing it. Under the Oregon Public Meetings Law, the list of anticipated subjects does not limit the ability of a governing body to consider additional subjects. See ORS 192.640. By consensus at a study session, the council may direct staff to act on other matters that do not require council decision by ordinance or resolution. That comes from Ashland Municipal Code 2.04020C, Section 1. In this case, the budget resolution, in this case, the budget resolution that was noticed and eventually put forth had council's guidance and direction that included changes to not use the reserve fund and rather to take it from the additional funds released from the parks fee and then reappropriate a portion from the homeless budget, which can get replenished as needed mid-year. That is what council voted on at the budget adoption meeting. There was no need for a motion to amend the budget because it was already discussed in prior sessions and included in the budget that they were presented to vote on. Per budget law, after the budget committee has approved the budget and a public hearing was held, the city council can make changes to the budget that was approved when adopting the budget. They do not have to go back to the CBC if the expenditure is under 10%, which it was not. Which it was. And that comes from the Local Management Budget Manual, Chapter 11, and also from ORS 294.456. Council more than sufficiently discussed the change in previous council sessions and right before the public hearing, or at the public hearing, so it was clear and transparent before they voted on the adopted budget. Budget law provides that the budget council adopts can already have those changes in place, and they can vote on it. That is what occurred. All members of the council and staff took your concerns seriously, and I provided responses to them to address them and explain the legal approach. Thank you for bringing your concerns to the attention of the council.
Thank you.